Imagine this. You wake up and you take a look around you. The year is 2009. You're on summer break and it's raining outside. You grab your hoodie, you grab your beanie, you grab your cereal, you go to the TV. The sound of the console chimes and all of your buddies are online. You join the party and you can feel the hype through the headset. Game on. You always remember the high points, the overkills, the epic comebacks, but you never really necessarily remember the low points or all the hours you spent grinding. Were there takeaways from those times as well? Today I'm looking back at some of the games from my childhood through a little bit of a different lens. These are 13 life lessons explained using video games. Intro reel. Rule number 1. Start your day off the right way. Taught to me by Sonic the Hedgehog. The objective of most Sonic games is to get from the beginning to the end of the level as quickly, efficiently, and with as many rings as possible. After having played the game enough, you know how important it is to get off to a good start if you want to get a good score. Now, you may not jump out of a helicopter with a snowboard first thing in the morning, but the way that you begin your day in real life is going to set the pace for how you go through the rest of it pretty much the same way. If you can set your alarm early, get up, make your bed, and not hit the snooze button, then you've already started your day off 2-0. You put it in your head from the beginning that you're capable of doing hard things without procrastinating, and you'll carry that throughout the day. Kind of like running through a Sonic level and hitting all the rail grinds and secret trampolines instead of running on foot. Rule number 2. Have a plan for the day. Taught to me by Halo Wars. The point of the game is essentially to best utilize resources and coordinate with units that you and your teammates create to destroy your enemy bases. However, things can fall apart pretty quickly if you don't have a proper strategy put into place. The same thing can be said with your daily schedule. You only have so much time in a day, and to win the day, you should try to get the most out of it. You can plan your days ahead the night before, or you can plan your entire week on a Sunday. Your day should be planned out with priority items first, and then progressively less important ones to fill the gaps. Remember to include things that you enjoy, and rest periods between studying or working, and hopefully 8 hours of sleep. Live like you're on a mission, because you are, and prioritize your goals. Doing what you believe is right for you and seeing who's willing to follow you through that is how you filter out the right and the wrong people in your life. Kind of the same way that you would filter out good and bad teammates online. It'll also naturally build your conviction and your confidence in leadership situations. Rule number 3. Don't fly on autopilot. Using Metroid Prime as an example. You're always looking to grow as a person, right? However, the overwhelming majority of decisions that people make on a daily basis are habitual, meaning that if you're going through your day on autopilot, you're really not giving yourself a chance to try new things in the world. That'd be the equivalent to Samus rolling around in her morph ball like 80% of the time that you're playing her. That's only acceptable in Smash Bros. And even then it's trash. You want to keep your eyes open to the world around you. You could class in something new, join a club, or find a new book or podcast to listen to. Make sure to put yourself in positions to meet new people and gain new perspectives. That's like unlocking new areas of your map one at a time and finding those sick upgrades for your morph suit. Rule number 4. Make your decisions based on what's right, not what's easy. There are so many games out there that use side quests as a way to bolster your character's money, items, and skills outside of the main mission. The one I'm choosing is The Legend of Zelda, because it's a classic. Theoretically, it's possible to play through the game without grabbing more than you absolutely need to progress the plot. But if you use that as a metaphor for real life, then it quickly becomes less than ideal. In Zelda, taking the time to do all of the side quests is what gives you the maximum hearts, maximum shields, and best items to defeat the final boss. In real life, making the right decisions, especially the ones without immediate gratification, will often lead to the greatest success down the road. Kind of like lying in a relationship. It may make the situation better in the moment, but telling the truth is what builds trust for those harder moments down the road. It's also like working out hard in the gym, pushing your limits and using progressive overload as opposed to just sort of going through the motions. It's going to make you stronger and give you the best results in the end. Or staying late at work to get a project done. May not do anything today, but sometime down the road, people will remember that and you might get a promotion. So make the right choices and don't put yourself in the position to fight the final boss with the mason jar. Rule number 5. Don't let what others think affect you. Taught to me by Super Smash Bros. It's always interesting to see what character people choose to play because there are so many options. It actually makes for a great first date topic too. No, I'm just kidding, don't do that. But people will often choose the character that's most intuitive to them and the way they like to play. You're not going to play who other people expect you to play. You're going to play who you want because that's who gives you the best chance to have fun and compete. Why should your real life decisions be any different? People are so unique, yet we tend to self-identify by only the things that we commonly share with the outside world. People can only reach their full potential by being their true, authentic self. Choose the career you feel drawn to because it makes you feel the most fulfilled, not because it makes you the most money. Choose hobbies that make you feel happy and make you feel alive, not just what all your friends are doing. Choose the character that's the best version of you. Rule number 6. Always be open to learning new things. Taught to me by Mortal Kombat. What made this game great above anything else was its fatalities. Back when you would spend hours with a folded piece of printer paper and all the codes written down on it, practicing attacks to use on your friends the next time they would come over. That's what it was all about. Blood icicles, anybody? And like with anything else, you should always explore the greater possibilities of what you're capable of doing. And like anything else, you should always look for the greater possibilities of what you're capable of doing. Don't stick to the default way of doing things. No button mashing. Build your skills and learn from others until you're good enough to build on it yourself and make it your own. Make anything you do unique to you, the same way that ice attacks are unique to Sub-Zero. Rule number 7. If you feel resistance to something, just take the first steps. This is taught to me by Dr. Mario. This is a great example of a puzzle game where you're doing what you can based on the limited information that you have available. You have no idea what to expect at the beginning of the game, but as you progress, you learn how to work around what's thrown at you, and you progressively start to get higher scores. Warm up with easier stages and progress to harder ones with faster pieces. Oftentimes, the uncertainty of how things are going to work out are enough to keep us from doing it in the first place. Talking to that person you've always wanted to, starting your blog, sharing your music, publishing that YouTube video. Really just putting yourself into the world to have it torn to pieces by criticism. Or it could be well received and people could love it. But you'll never know. Either way, till you put it out. Maybe you'll have the perfect colored pill for that next move. Rule number 8. Resting is okay. This goes for all games. You play better when you've had some sleep. If it's not working out, come back later. Sometimes in life you have to take a step back, ask for help, and plan a reapproach. It's better for your well-being and the well-being of your controller. Rule number 9. Express how you feel and ask for help if you need it. Using Left 4 Dead as a metaphor. No, I'm not kidding. Left 4 Dead is a game that requires an insane amount of communication and teamwork to get through the levels, especially on the harder difficulties. You think that you can make it through hordes of zombies, tanks, and fucking smokers by yourself is completely unrealistic, and you should look at your daily life challenges the same way, like it's a horde of zombies. Different situations call for different levels of keeping your thoughts reserved, of course, but it's important to have somebody that you can trust and talk to about anything in private. The ability to communicate what you're thinking in a proactive, not reactive, and non-offensive manner is probably one of the best skills that you can learn. Keeping thoughts bottled up only makes them worse, and shame only grows in the dark. In Left 4 Dead, you'll call out for help if you need it, and that's just a video game. That doesn't really matter. Why wouldn't you get help in real life when it matters the most? Don't be that one kid with no mic that runs out and gets pinned by life's zombies. That's called isolation, and that can have terrible effects on your mental health, even worse than smokers. Lesson number 10. Practice infinite patience and infinite love. Taught to me by Grand Theft Auto. Okay, that time I'm kidding. I'll use Pokemon as an example. Everything that's worth anything takes time to develop. You take time to train and develop your Pokemon so that they can become stronger and defeat harder opponents, and build rapport together by fighting millions of cave Zubats and entering competitions and defeating gyms. In the end, you create a team that's strong enough to beat the Elite Four. Though your relationships in real life are obviously much more important than Pokemon, a lot of the same concepts still apply between the two. The first is that you don't really know the full extent of who a person is until you've spent a lot of time together. Building a relationship with someone always starts out like a level 1 Charmander, and it may take years to develop that relationship into the Charizard that you want. Weird analogy, I know, but stay with me. It takes time and effort for a relationship to flourish because you need that time for trust to develop. And when you break someone's trust, you've basically taken your Charizard and turned the damn thing back into a level 1 Charmander. So sometimes people don't live up to who you want them to be, and especially not in the moment. And that's alright. People are who they are, and these things take time. It's better to just take the L and take that Charizard back to the Pokemon Center rather than throwing the whole game away. Rule number 11. Let yourself make mistakes. Taught to me by, drumroll please, Halo 3. Self-explanatory. This game is nothing but mistakes, especially when you're getting over the learning curve of the multiplayer. Just about the most aggravating thing ever. But that's what makes it such a great example of how making mistakes constantly can just make you better at what you do. You'll always respawn again, trying and failing over and over, watching other people play, learning the maps, learning angles and timing are all parts of becoming a better player. This applies to just about anything in life. The biggest takeaway is that there's really no such thing as failing. There's winning and learning from mistakes. Failure should be seen as more of a lesson than a setback. Get better as you go, and eventually that lands you with more wins. And after you've played a good game, then suddenly the bad ones don't seem to matter so much anymore. Take that same mentality into whatever else you're doing in life. Just focus on the next game in front of you. On the other side of every great player are numerous broken headsets, controllers, keyboards, and probably vocal cords too. Lesson number 12. Have faith that things will work out when you least expect it. Taught to me by Borderlands. There are now 1 billion guns in the Borderlands universe. With a B. That's not hyperbole. So it's really pretty safe to say that you don't know exactly what you're going to get when you play through the games. Fun is in collecting them and better upgrading your skills to use them throughout the game. That's the whole point. It makes it awesome. If you took that same approach to life, and if you think of collecting weapons instead as collecting memories and collecting experiences, then a lot of the same concepts apply. There are a billion combinations of things that you can come across and you're never sure what you're going to get. But that's fun in it. You have no power over how the universe works around you, but you have full power to choose how you perceive and navigate it every day. So don't stress about what happens today. Tomorrow you may come across exactly what you're looking for. That legendary thunder sniper that somehow shoots missiles. Rule number 13. Never give up. Ever. A lesson taught to me by Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2. And not just because I was 360 no-scoped a million times or killed by a million throwing knives. In Call of Duty, you play through a prestige leveling system. It gives you access to better weapons, skins, and perks the more that you play. And every time you hit the highest level, you'd have the opportunity to stay there or start again from level 1, but in the next level of prestige, which gives you a special emblem and access to all of these special customizations. The cyclical nature of working through the prestige system works a lot like real life itself, for those who choose not to stay complacent at the early levels of prestige and keep going. There are ups and downs through every phase of life. It always gets harder, and it always tests you right before you're about to level up. The same way the top levels of the prestige system are always the hardest to push through before you reach the next cycle. So if you're having a hard time right now, that just means better things are on the way. Sometimes we lose games, sometimes we lose at life. You can always win the next game though, and you can always win the next day. Just stay away from World at War zombies. They always win. As long as you woke up this morning, that means you've got some ass to kick, so go get after it. Anyway, thanks for tuning in. My name's Jason Shockey. I'm a filmmaker and I'm passionate about creating content that's meaningful for people through storytelling. If you made it this far, please consider hitting that like and subscribe button. I've got a ton of ideas for more videos just like this one. If you have comments about something you might agree with or disagree with, please leave those in the comments below. What are some of your favorite games to date, and have they taught you anything that's extended out into real life? Let me know. Lastly, if you know anybody else that might enjoy this content, please share it with them, and let's build a community. I look forward to hearing from you now and in the next video. So until next time, peace.